What's up, everyone? Welcome to the American Contractor Show. I'm here with my boy Troy Clymer today.
We're in the studio, man. Welcome to season 2 of the American Contractor Show.
This is episode 63.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's crazy.
The studio has really evolved lately. So I want to open the show by giving a happy birthday shout out to two of my favorite people in this industry, Anthony Del Medico and Matt Irvin. These guys are experts at storm setup, and they share the same birthday. So happy birthday, fellas.
I sent Anthony a text today, and it's on happy birthday, and he said it's his 28th birthday.
Yeah, he looks amazing for 28. I mean, both of these guys are just rocking and rolling. And Matt Irvin is on Anthony's make fat cry mode right now. So if any of you ever go and you work out with Anthony, look out, because that man makes fat cry. And Matt Irvin, one of the most fit guys I know, is cutting right now for a bodybuilding show, I hear.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's going to be amazing. They're going to paint him orange like the bodybuilders do. I know everybody wants to see Matt Irvin get painted on social media, so look out for that. It's coming up.
Wait, what? Go back for a minute. Let's talk about this a little bit for just a second.
So Matt Irvin owns Restore Masters, and he's still trying to be better than Justin Reichel, right? And these guys are fans of the show, and I love Matt and Justin, but so the only way, because if you know Justin Reichel, that man's fit,
I know Justin,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's amazing.
I actually met him at the bank one time in like Louisville. He was making a deposit. And he walked in.
People.
I'm like, this guy's definitely a contractor, and I met him, and it was Justin Reichel.
Justin's the guy, right? And so him and Matt have an awesome thing going on at Restore Masters. Great friends of ours here at Balance, ACS, American Contractor, as is Anthony Del Medico. And so we wanted to just roast them a little bit as we opened the show today, because they are two of my favorite people, and they share a birthday here on February 2nd. So Anthony's 28, and I think Matt Irvin's 19.
Good for them. Anyways, folks, Troy Clymer's with us today. He's my buddy. He's going to be in the studio with us as we talk to Matt Grassmyer here in a few minutes when he comes on. But before we start, though, I wanted Troy to share one more story and share his experiences yesterday, because you had quite the day. We had a snowstorm here. It's a little storm that came through.
Well, in Indianapolis, 4 or 5 inches of snow is a blizzard.
Exactly. And so, Troy, tell the story of what happened yesterday, because it was such a great story.
So for those who are excellent multitaskers while driving, I am not, right? So I'm on my way to the office in the morning in my car, and I drive. I have a flat tire of a spike, which I slide out off the side of the culvert on my driveway and get stuck. So here I am in my dress clothes, trying to get into work and get to the studio. And, I'm in snow, because in Indy, we don't drive in a blizzard very well. So there you have it. And I got to the office a little bit late and with some wet socks, but we were in there nonetheless. And so we've had as we warm up to the weather man here, Matt Grassmyer with HailTrace, and we'll talk about this. I know Derek Klein's given the first hail forecast, and John and Matt are going to talk more about that today in Oklahoma. So Matt's going to talk a little bit about that, but we've had a mild winter so far.
We have,
all jokes aside, here in the Midwest, and it's February 2nd, and we just had our first really good snow in Indianapolis, and we had a little one earlier in the year, but it's been a mild weather all over the country. So what does that mean for contractors? How has that affected people's business? We're going to talk about that a little bit today on the show, and Matt and John have some good insights.
Yeah, I'm excited, because 2021 is turning out to be a really weird year so far. We don't really know what's going on with the weather. There's already been, I think, some hail that's fallen in Texas, which is pretty usual, but at the same time, I'm curious, because last year, when's the last time Colorado got a hailstorm?
It's been 2 years, and we've got a lot of friends and clients out in Colorado, and the industry's big there. I was talking with the dance, Justin and Stephanie, on Facebook the other day, and I know they're very prepared, and Denver's due for a good storm. So, Matt's going to let us know what HailTrace has got in their kind of realm of knowledge about hail season coming up here in a little bit, and talk to you about where you can catch the hail forecast, because they're just kicking off that hail forecast.
Yeah, we got some really big announcements to make about that today too. So, But either way, thank you so much, Troy, for being with us. We're going to have Matt Grassmyer with us here on the American Contractor Show, and let's get this thing rolling. And we continue the journey that leads to the realization of your American Dream. I'm your host, John Dye, and this is the American Contractor Show, where we explore and learn what it takes to be a successful contractor in today's world, providing you behind-the-scenes access to some of the best minds, tools, and companies in contracting. Join us and elevate your understanding and contracting knowledge on the American Contractor Show. Well, guys, we're back here at the American Contractor Show, and we got our friend Matt Grassmyer. He's in the wings, in the green room, ready to get on. Let's bring Matt into the show here and let him talk a little bit about all the stuff that's going on at HailTrace, because there's a ton going on. Matt, thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Thanks for having me. Always good to be on with you guys. Some of my best friends in the industry. Thanks for having me. We're having a lot of fun over here at HailTrace. Office is a little empty today, though, because some of our team is out actually delivering the forecast. Derek is out giving the forecast as we speak for the entire United States. He's centering more on Oklahoma City today, but talking about what weather's going to look like in the United States this year.
Bro, that new office is so killer. Like, how are you guys liking it over there?
I love it. We are having a great time. We've made the space our own, sitting in about 5,500 square feet of stellar office space. It's allowed us to open up our capabilities from the live forecasting to interviewing space. Like, our studio is it's incredible to see what we've been able to do from the last office we were in to now. It's pretty incredible to watch.
Yeah, from someone that appreciates studios, for sure. You guys did set up a really awesome one. John and those guys over there built a really cool space for the hail forecast, which is it's probably one of the most watched things in our industry. Everyone wants to know what's going on with the hail forecast, and the daily hail reports are always great in the spring. Right now, though, you guys are talking about the winter storm today.
A little bit, yeah. We're talking about winter because of the way it correlates to weather around the country. And, there's talk, and obviously this is no guarantee, but like the last time this type of stuff was happening, like this type of snowfall was occurring was 2011. And if you were in the restoration industry back in 2011, you'll remember that was a pretty banner year from a hail reports standpoint. So historical, and I think it's still the record. Sure John Dias or John Choqueta somewhere like, yes, it's the record. A lot of hail fell in 2011. A lot of stuff going on that year. So some similarities between this start of the year and the start of the year in 2011. So,
Matt, you guys nailed it last year with your forecast, right? And a lot of people give us a retrospective for people who thought that 2020 was a great storm year, because it really wasn't. It was a good storm year. You guys were very accurate with your forecast last year. And talk about how important the hail forecast is and being pre-planned, and give a quick overview for people who might not know everything that HailTrace does, how this fits into the overall business model there and all the ways that you guys serve the industry.
Wow, that's such a loaded question. So I think we have the unenviable task of giving facts and giving truth, and sometimes that hurts people's feelings, sometimes that makes people upset, but we don't always predict an above average year. And last year was an average year. It was kind of above average in some places, but across the board it was just a pretty average year.
You guys are very accurate with your forecast last year, right? I mean, I was privy to it as it was just getting announced, like today's forecast, kind of public day one for you guys for 2021. And you were very accurate state by state last year. I was impressed.
Well, we appreciate that. And I think that just speaks to the hours that get poured into that. So our team looks over so much data. Actually, like it's so they pour over it so much. It's boring. Like let's be honest. Like the data that they're looking at, hours and hours of historical data and models and what all these systems are doing and what they're foreseeing. Like there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just. I think some people think that we're just throwing darts at a board and saying, yeah, it's going to hail there. That's not really how it works. There's a lot of things that go into
I think what people don't realize a lot of times is how many meteorologists actually work at HailTrace. Like the fact that in our industry, in our little niche, there's a company that has how many meteorologists working at it that are just dealing with hail and wind and stuff that relates directly to us and our pocketbooks and what we do as an industry, which is super cool.
Yeah, so we have 5 degree meteorologists, 6, I guess you would call them severe weather specialists, who have logged over. They've created 10,000 certified hail maps since 2012, and they've logged just over 40,000 hours of mapping total. So what that looks like is essentially just years and years of experience. So when they're looking at radar data, they can disseminate pretty quickly what's happening and give you the most accurate depiction of what's going on.
Yeah, that's really something that you guys should be proud of for sure. So, but Matt, tell us a little bit what's going on though. So you guys are doing the hail forecast. You guys did one. Did you guys do one at SRC? Because there was one going to happen there, right?
Yeah, Derek did the forecast at the SRC, and then we're doing one today, and then we've got another one in Dallas tomorrow. And obviously, COVID has kind of dampened some of the things with the ability to get out on the road and get into public spaces and do a lot of that stuff. But I mean, make no mistake, the HailTrace forecast is the must-see event of the year. There's no question. So there's some things that are just factual. Death, taxes, and HailTrace forecast is the must-see event of the year. So that's how I'll frame that.
I agree. I agree with that. I've sat in those forecasts, and I'm always like, man, that is such a cool deal. And to listen to it and watch it happen in real life is a whole different beast.
Well, I think a lot of people don't understand that HailTrace is a weather forensics company.
Yeah, and
also a software and technology company. So talk a little bit about where those two things meet, Matt. I mean, you guys also, as you're getting at, are an events company. And so we partner very closely, the Balance family companies and HailTrace, and exclusively kind of sponsor everything everyone does. But you guys are 3 companies in one there. And how does that work as far as like how people can consume your products and intersect with like the events and the travel and all those logistics that go into that? Because you guys do storm chasing as well, and just invested in a branded 2020 Ford Raptor that's like a one-off custom. So let's talk about the product and then talk about this 6-figure truck a little bit. Yes.
So the product itself is we kind of look at it as like a twofold product. Obviously there's the data side, but the data is the most accurate data that you can possibly get. But what is data without actionable technology or actionable processes? So our main goal specifically right now, and one of the reasons we do the forecast as early as we possibly can, is to give people actionable intel so they can make adjustments and make plans and be ready for the storm. Our big push here at HailTrace is don't wait till a storm to be ready. Like, let's put stuff into place right now in February so that when March comes, or whenever your hail season starts, whenever hail season happens, you're ready to jump on it and you're ready to go out and, download your client lists. You've got boots on the ground that have already been putting in the work right now, finding out what's out there, and you're ready to go. And as soon as hail happens, your process just clicks on, and you're not trying to figure it out. You're already, getting to revenue generating places because you're ready to go. As far as the truck goes, the 6-figure truck, as you call it. It's a really cool, sexy looking thing. And it's a one of a kind. Like there's no other truck like that in the industry. I don't think any other company can say that they have a one of a kind truck.
If you haven't seen this truck, you'll catch it in the trailer at the end of the show. It's in there from RoofCon, which is the unveiling, so you can catch this truck. Awesome, it's one of the coolest. If you like Ford Raptors, the thing is awesome.
For a Ford, it's a pretty nice truck.
It's pretty slick. So for people who have never seen it, it is equally as impressive when it's chasing hail and hurricanes and severe weather as it is when it's trying to outrun velociraptors in Jurassic Park.
You guys are the only ones crazy enough to spend $100,000 on a truck you're going to drive into a hailstorm.
I would agree with that. But at the end of the day, like, it's all about getting
the CFO in Troy comes out.
Well, no, I think about that sometimes too. But the trade-off is we're getting good data and we're able to really get field experience. Like storm chasing is fun, but at the same time, like, it's really good field experience and education for our meteorologists. And we make sure that they go out and storm chase, because when they're looking at radar data, not only are they looking at the data that's available there, they're using their real life storm chasing experience to know, okay, when this specific thing is happening on the radar, this is actually what's happening on the ground. Because I've been in that situation where I'm looking at this hail core, like when it's on the radar, but I'm actually there as it's happening. So I know exactly what's going on the ground. And that can't be overstated. And that's not something you get unless you have meteorologists who have that kind of experience.
No, that's true. And that's the thing. Like, the data is only as valuable as what you guys can do with that data in real life. Otherwise, we all get caught up. I remember back when the hail reports were so rudimentary, and we would just get this report on my phone where it would just tell me, oh, we got 2-inch hail, we got 1-inch hail, so we get really excited when we say 2.5, 3-inch hail. You see quarter size or 3/4 inch hail, and you're just like, it's just 3/4 inch. But in all reality, it could have been that 3/4 inch hail was way stronger than the 3-inch hail that was essentially slush balls that were falling from the sky. And
Absolutely.
So now the data's gotten so much more precise, and you guys keep making it better and better and better to be able to provide us with even more pinpointed data that we can then use to really make our processes better as an industry.
Absolutely. And I think going beyond the algorithm has always been our MO. And what happens at 20,000 feet is typically not what's happening at the ground level. So that's where the live meteorologist comes in to fill that gap and let you know exactly what's happening on the ground.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you guys making both of those data sets into intelligence in relatively real time for your products and the maps and the other features. And I want to have you give us a nugget in a second feature wise of what's new for this year, but is a big differentiator with you, because obviously John and the meteorologist team there have all of the data that you're getting from all your other sources, right? And you guys, as a forensic meteorology company, that's what you do, right? You're constantly analyzing data, turning it into actionable intelligence and information inside your software that contractors of all types, not just roofers, can use to educate themselves on where to position revenue and how to really manage their production. That's a very important part of HailTrace as well, right? Because especially if you're a stormer and you're in multiple markets, right? So talk about some feature nuggets that are new for this year inside the tech. I know there's a couple, so give us at least one nugget that's an improvement here for 2021 that contractors can expect to experience inside of HailTrace.
Yeah, so one of the cool features that I'm really excited about that we've just dropped is the ability to get really rich data automatically. Like we have these reports that our meteorologists do, right? But we have these automated reports that you get on the app, you click on an address, and you can within seconds download 10 years worth of historical weather data. Like right in PDF form. And what that allows you to do is add that to a file, send that to an adjuster, send that to an attorney, send that to the claims adjuster, whoever needs it, send it to a homeowner as a marketing tool. Like within 5 seconds, you can get a 10-year history of a specific address. And it's going through all the data that we have. And it's giving you like an in-depth look at that specific property or that specific location from a historical perspective. So you can know exactly what's happening.
Game changer for sure. And then getting that data out, like I always tell people, like HailTrace is one of the pieces of data that you can rely on enough to even, if you had to go to court with it or fight that on a battlefield, like it's the only meteorologist based product of its kind out there that's 100% real and not computer algorithm based 100%.
Absolutely. And this is how I try to frame it to people. Like we specialize in, like Troy said, forensic meteorology. What that essentially means is if somebody the scenario that typically pops up is a contractor will have an address. They'll think that they have a data loss, and then the insurance company will kick back and say, no, it didn't hail on that date. Well, then they'll ask us to go look at that address specifically. And so the way I try to frame it for people is like forensically, we're kind of acting like a crime scene investigator, and we're digitally investigating what was happening at a specific address, like not from a 30,000 foot perspective, but from they're looking at that specific address as it correlates to that radar data that goes over that address, or whether that data goes over the address or not. And so from a very like granular, like site specific perspective, we're determining like a crime scene investigator what actually happened on a specific date. And so we can make determinations to help clients or contractors push that claim on in the process. And sometimes it comes to the litigation side. And so then our lead meteorologist, John Chuckett, will put in hours and hours and put together 50-page reports that he's then going to back with his expert witness testimony. And so it's a really, you don't get that anywhere else in the industry, because there's something to be said for somebody that actually goes, and you don't have a robot go investigate a murder scene. You have somebody actually do that.
Standing behind the data and the product. And Derek and I've talked about that a lot, right? Going into court to be defensible with your product on behalf of contractors, or just as an expert witness, which you guys do, right? Is very important, and the new feature is awesome because it finally brings everything together in real time, and the impact that has for a sales department of a contracting company, from suspecting and prospecting. You talked about some of the back end intelligence of that, deploying into the storm market, understanding the data, but you might not get the sale right away. And you now have that Tron data kind of within your matrix of all the technology that is HailTrace, and so it brings kind of the, Tron understanding for a contractor just of the sales, the production, what's going on in that home, so they can build out territories and plans, and especially keep up with what's happening at roofs they've built even, right? When they have to go back, this is very important, and contractors have never had this type of real-time data at the property level within markets before. And that's really awesome. I've taken a look at it in the HailTrace platform, and I know you guys launched the new platform last year, but it's really been cool to see these new features roll out, come together. And I know our clients at Balance that use that are tremendously benefiting. Talk a little bit about events, Matt, right? Let's say, because events are coming around the horn, and it's different with COVID and coming out of that now. And the next major kind of big trade show is at the end of March, and it's, birthday boy Anthony Delmedico's Win the Storm conference. It's 3/31 through 4/2, and they had to postpone that. So you guys have this window of 2 months where HailTrace is doing some events, right? So mention some of those on, I know Dallas, mentioned some other places people can find you guys and interact with you at a hail forecast level between now and Win the Storm.
So yeah, I think from an events perspective, obviously COVID has like made everything kind of, I don't know, different. And so we've had to rethink like how we do stuff. I know that over the next few months, a lot of the stuff that we're going to be doing is virtual because that's kind of how it's set up. Crazy thing about COVID is we're actually set up to go virtual. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So we've been using Zoom for years and years. And so having the ability to do that kind of stuff it was a seamless transition for us. Dallas is tomorrow. We're going to be doing, I know this is after Win the Storm, but I think we're going to be doing something with the American Contractor show as well.
That's true.
I think that's
John will dig into Storm Summit a little bit, but where can people find you in Dallas tomorrow? Somebody wants to come see tomorrow's forecast in Dallas. Can you drop where that is? Sammy can put it in the comments. I know we got a pretty thick Dallas audience here on the American Contractor, and one event that is worth going to, because these events, how long are they? First off, give the overview of what a hail forecast event is, and let us know where it is in Dallas tomorrow.
So tomorrow in Dallas, it's at a little place called The Station. It's in McKinney. I can actually send you guys the specific address so you can put that in the show notes or wherever you want to put that. But it's we've got actually 3 sessions. It's a 2-hour event, and we want to get in. We want to make sure everybody's seated, ready to go. We want to give the forecast, and then we want to get out of there. So we're not trying to do like a 6-hour event where we've got a bunch of speakers. We want to get right to the meat of what we're going to talk about, get you guys out and able to take that data and go put some action to it. So we've got, let me look at our look at our deal tomorrow. We've got one from 1 to 3, and then another from 4 to 6, and then there's a morning session as well.
So there's 3 opportunities tomorrow in Dallas at this
3
joint.
opportunities.
Catch the forecast. So no matter what if you're a contractor in Dallas, you need to be at this tomorrow.
Are there hail contractors in Dallas?
There's not many roofers in Dallas.
Not very many.
They're just getting started with the roofing industry.
There's a couple.
Yeah.
There's a couple. Yeah, it's they're starting to warm up to the idea of hail damaging roofs.
You guys launched.
I know I can't say damage as I work for a weather.
You guys doing it in Oklahoma today. That's home turf for you guys. You guys headquartered it right there in Oklahoma. But Dallas is generally where you get out with the forecast first, and there's a reason for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a few main reasons. The main reasons that Dallas is typically the first is, one, because there's probably more contractors in Dallas than probably the surrounding like 5 states combined. But then the other reason is, like, typically Dallas sets up pretty early. Like it's an early season.
They've already had some hail.
Yeah. They had a little bit. They'd probably call that like snow, because
that's right. That's snow.
It's not what they're used to. They're used to big softball sized hail rolling through Frisco and McKinney. But they set up early. Typically their storm season is late February, early March through the summer. So we set up in Dallas, and we want to make sure that they're the first one to go, mainly because they're the biggest market, or one of the biggest markets, and then also because their hail season starts so early.
That's cool. Well, I think that's something that people need to look into. Yeah, if you can send us the info, we'll put it in the comments for sure, and at least get that over to you guys, so that those of you that are watching this before tomorrow want to get down to Dallas or want to get to McKinney, if you're nearby, go check it out, because it's definitely something that I've watched them do, and it's well worth your time and energy to be at one of these hail forecasts. And I'm excited too, because I know that you're saying like, hey, these storm seasons start end of February, early March, and I'm over here looking at my producer Sammy thinking, dude, we're about to get down to get to ride in the Raptor and go do some hail chasing with these guys, and that's what I'm really excited about, because that's going to be fun.
That's going to be some good episodes back end of the season. And usually, Matt, we're all on this exhausting kind of rock band tour called Highway to Hail right now, the last 2 years. And even though my wife loves it when I'm
Certainty. What other tour did we do last year? I mean, we did every tour imaginable.
It's really just John and I's wives trying to get rid of us for months on end so they can enjoy.
So are they the ones that really plan this? They're like, hey, Mark Winter, I need you to do a Certainty show so I can get them out of the house.
Do a Certainty show, do a HailTrace show, do a CompanyCam, do it all. Like, get out of here.
And then it's exhausting, though. Let's be real. I mean, these tours you guys have put on with CompanyCam and Certainty comes right behind you. The Catalyst Group organizes these road shows in the spring. SVG does one, The Road to Win the Storm, and it's delightfully exhausting. And you come into April having been out of town for 3 months. And then, so that has been a pleasant change. As a business owner, you talked about adapting this year. That gave birth to the American Contractor Show. And the industry's really come together to do that. It's kind of cool. And it's a family feel at the top of this industry. And it is great. So, John, I know we're coming around the corner on time here. I want to make sure that you and Matt get to talk about the Storm Summit, the American Contractor Storm Summit in April, and that's going to kind of be the back end of the hail forecast.
Well, it's going to be exciting for sure, and having HailTrace being a part of that is just natural, because this is the American Contractor Storm Summit. So if you had a chance to be a part of the first summit, that was more general business development, scaling, personal development, building a business, all the things that you need to do early on in the year to make sure that you've built a good foundation so you can have a good solid business for the rest of the year. The next summit in April, which is April 15th and 16th, I believe, is going to be the American Contractor Storm Summit. And seeing that it's April, storm season starting to kick in around the country, obviously, unless you're in Dallas where you started early. The rest of us, we're starting around April. The seasons are changing. We're getting spring. The spring storms are rolling in. So obviously it was natural to start with the Storm Summit, which is going to be all about the insurance restoration world, setting up your business for that particular segment of the industry, making sure that you've got yourself compliant, that you know what's going on the legal side of things, that you've got supplementing down and the entire insurance process ready to go. So we got a lot of contractors coming that do this. I just was on the phone with Zach Kerr this morning from Sales Rabbit. He's got some really cool stuff for the Storm Summit. Sam Taggart's going to be there, all to help you with your sales and all those stuff that's going on. So anyways, obviously being in a storm, I mean, there's no way that HailTrace was not going to not be a part of this.
Well, and HailTrace sponsored the first summit, right? And the important go over the summits as a whole in the 4-part series for the year, so everybody understands how they fit together.
So we haven't really announced that yet, but we have the summit after that in July is going to be the Q3 summit. It's going to be the Tech Summit. So it's going to be talking about how to incorporate all these new technologies into your business. And there's going to be some, obviously, like, because HailTrace does a lot of technology, so I'm sure you guys be part of that one as well. And then on the latter end, Q4 this year, we're going to have our Women's Summit, which is going to give us the women's perspective of the industry and what's going on with developing that whole new area of the industry that is just taking off. And I'm really excited about that one, because I think that even everyone thinks, oh, it's just a women's summit, so a bunch of women are going to watch. No, this is the summit that we really need to pay attention to, because there's going to be a lot of completely new ideas and different ways of doing things and different perspectives. I mean, my wife is probably the smartest person I know in my life.
Of course.
And so I'm excited to hear from her. She's going to be a part of that as well. And so
a lot of people don't.
Things.
There's been a nice women's movement in this industry the last 5 years.
Absolutely.
The National Women of Roofing, great organization. Mm-hmm. We've got some great women that work for us here. And a lot of people don't, like Priscilla Dye works at Balance, works for American Contractor. She is a lot of the brains behind what goes on in our media companies, in our events companies. It's the people you don't see, the people that are in the studio with us today. Sam Castellan, our producers, excellent. And so that's cool. But let's dig in back here in a quick sec into the Storm Summit. I know that's the back end of the hail forecast in April, so it gives a chance to see it now.
We'll still get a forecast. I'm sure that Derek's going to definitely do a forecast. And then getting to get that technology of what to expect when it comes to hail, and then introducing them to HailTrace on a broader level, deeper level into what really is. That's what these summits are all about. Giving you the technology and the education that you need to be really successful within your business in all these different areas and grow your business, specifically storm. So I'm really excited that you guys are going to be doing this, Matt, because getting you guys on our really nice production screen, you guys are all going to look really good. But besides that, though,
Matt and Derek always look good. I mean, I've seen Derek in purple suits, green suits. I mean, these guys are, best dressed connoisseurs over here, and they constantly stealing Balance's awards at these trade show awards things. I think we lost to them like 2-3 years in a row. They had to move me into some other category with Sam Taggart to try to get me a trophy.
But then they put you in with Sam Taggart.
I'm going to get crushed by that, dude.
Trust me. How do you think I feel? I got Jonathan Sherwood and someone else in my
category.
This is
secretly why we're trying to be friends with these guys. We just want to win one time. No, I'm kidding. But in all seriousness, it is a cool thing. And this style that we've adopted with the American Contractor Summit may not have happened if it weren't for the COVID year. I know we were mostly in-person events and traveling, and how has that changed boot camps that everybody does?
It's changed everything. But what I think it's really done is, and this is where I get excited about the summits, is the summit is so inviting to people that normally don't go to events, because the commitment's not there. You got to think, Matt, you and I, Troy, we all go to these events. And I mean, you think of how much money we spend and go to these events, which is tens of thousands of dollars for each one, by the time you get booths and everything else. But even if you're a contractor, you're going to spend several $100s per ticket per person.
Well, our friend Matt Mulholland talked about that. And for those of you who don't like Matt Mulholland, he's the hilarious public adjuster with the awesome hat, right? And so he's a great dude. He's a close friend of ours. Right? Listen to this bull. Yeah. Plug his show. Great show. So check it out. When does Listen to This Bull air?
It's on Tuesdays today. So today at 4, I believe.
Get on and watch Listen to This Bull with Eastern, Matthew Mulholland at 4 Eastern. But Matt's a great public adjuster, good friend, and alliance partner of us. He's going to be speaking at the show, and he writes these reviews of events. And this is an educational event.
Yep.
And it speaks to people maybe who are trying to get education. We're working in a continuing education credit realm with it too. So we're evolving in that. And the cool thing is it's like curriculum and classes you can consume as many times as you want and live. And so the industry's given birth to a lot of different ways to experience information. and events now. Some people are not as extroverted and comfortable at trade shows in that environment. Then there's a biz dev aspect to it that is, quite frankly, a challenge with virtual events, right? And so we're trying to figure that out. So I know for me as an entrepreneur in the space, it's been cool to see this evolution. I remember in March when it was the Daily Show.
Yeah.
And there was this void. And next thing you know, John, who's the world, John's up for best marketing this year for a reason. And the man never stops working. And him and Jim Johnson threw this Daily Show thing together. And every single day we're on the air for an hour trying to help this industry out. And the industry really came together. And so it's been cool to see all these different events, styles that are available now pop up.
Yeah, I agree. And I think this is going to be a really unique one for HailTrace specifically to have you guys there. I'm honored that you guys are going to come and share your knowledge and share the tools that you have to help contractors be successful. And that's what all of this is all about. Elevation, making everyone better as an industry and bringing us to a new understanding of things in a product like HailTrace and what you guys do and your knowledge of that space it's just a natural.
The cool thing is all these educators work together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Matt Mulholland knows Derek Klein, Matt Grassmyer knows Zach Kerr. John will list the contractors that are going to be there as we come up. When can people start finding out more information and signing up to attend the April American Contractor Storm Summit?
So a week from this coming Monday is when the tickets will officially go on sale and all the final preparations will be done. So we're working on it this week and next week to get everything done. So it'll be February 15th. That will be when everything will be.
And the event's April 15th.
Yes.
So that's going to be good. I mean, one of the things we talked about in our postmortem of the first one, which was awesome, right? And I think everybody that attended would say the same thing, that educated there, is a little more runway, and that's important because we want more people to be able to experience this information. And in this new style, that's like a live event from a stage, but you're not there. So it's not a Zoom event.
And there might be some possibility that we may open the venue.
Yes. So the venue's pretty awesome that we use for these things. And so stay tuned for that. We're working on that with state regulations here in Indiana on what that would look like. But still not losing what's become the personality of this event. Yeah.
Yep. Still going to be a big broadcast event, but we're possibly going to be opening it up to having a live audience there as well.
Nuggets.
So, yeah.
Well, we're super excited to be a part of this thing. Obviously, we heard great things. Matt Mulholland's review was great. Heard nothing but great things about the first summit. But I mean, to hit on something that Troy said a few minutes ago, like seeing all the entrepreneurs in our space just solve problems. Like COVID just presented some problems that were really just opportunities to do things better. And this summit is kind of birthed out of that movement, right? And so I think it's really just cool to watch what you guys have done, and we're just excited to be a part of that and put out the knowledge that we have. And I think one thing that we'll try to hit on is urgency to market, and keeping track of data. It's not just weather data you need to keep track of. It's all of your clients' data, your past clients' data, all the data that your boots on the ground are getting, and really just being urgent with what we've got, so we can put in a plan of attack. So when stuff happens, we're ready to go. So we're pumped. We are pumped.
And then as far as in-person events, listen, Win the Storm, 2 months. Yeah, so,
2 months.
Get there. Everyone's there. I want to thank our sponsors for the American Contractor Show. They also sponsor the summit a lot of times. And, we've got a lot going on there. And those sponsors are the people who Matt's talking about who are coming together. Most of them are in the Catalyst group or friends of the Catalyst group. And it really is a family. And it's the same thing, when we come into Storm Ventures Group, Win the Storm, it's the Super Bowl of events, we like to call it. And Anthony and his team have been working really hard. I want to give a big shout out to Autumn over there. Apparently she's the head coach of a basketball team called the Bumblebee Stingers. I'm familiar with them. I heard their talent was lackluster. I'm not sure I know anyone that might play on that team, but I will tell you that I'm coaching another team called the Purple Cobras. And we are going to dominate this basketball game, mostly because I've got the greatest captain in basketball in Pate Smith, who went to Costa Rica last week for a special training camp. And I heard he came back, and John Wood has spent this entire year learning how to dunk. I saw Pate doing 360s in the sand on a beach, right? So not with a tennis ball either.
Yeah. So what the audience needs to understand is the difference between John Wood actually being able to dunk and then Pate Smith doing 360 so he can turn around and get another drink from the drink tray while he's in the sand on the beach. Totally different. Two totally different exercises.
You played in this game last year and you're playing again this year. Unfortunately, you're on the wrong team this year, but there was an epic collision between you and Pate Smith last year that I mean, it looked like somebody was going to the hospital and you both popped up. You guys are animals. And I will say that the man on the other end of this podcast, Matt Grassmyer, has the calves of envy in this industry.
Who does?
Calves of envy.
Apparently you do,
Matt Grassmyer.
So my audio cut out and I was like, wait, who's he talking about? I mean, I was.
Can we get a calf shot right from the desk right here to close the show?
Man, I hope my wife
out of the
office. My wife is
Let's get a calf shot. Come on.
I can't even, my pants are so tight. I can't.
Calves are so huge he can't even get his pants pulled up over him. Look at that.
There you go. So calf Marks, the famous an anatomologist, I don't know if that's a real word. He said it best. There's two types of people. There's the calves and the calf nots. I just happen to be a calf.
What's even funnier right now is my mom is watching this too.
And do we have? You've got is John Lobb on your team? Are you and Lobb both on the Stingers this year?
Me and John Lobb are on the same team, and so we would be.
Canifax, you guys have Canifax too.
Cafafax, yeah, absolutely.
God, you guys all have monster calves. And John Wood, you guys are the Cavtron team.
I just want to go back to a point you made about a collision that happened. I've gone back and I've watched the tape, and you can see clearly on the video as the best ball handler on the court. Not going to say any names. Last name ends with Arver, starts with C. You could clearly hear him instructing Pate Smith to take out the best ball handler. And then, out of nowhere, I'm just clocked.
Hit you like Brian Urlacher, man.
Whew. Man, I'll tell you what. He did. But
he's coming for y'all again this year, right? So we sent him down to Costa Rica for dunk training. And have you ever seen that movie, The Accountant?
Yes,
right?
I have.
So that scene where his little kid's training and he's fighting that Indian guy in the backyard? That was Pate. Last week. I mean, this dude is ready. Him and Gil. I tell you what, Matt Danskin, my assistant coach, I mean, this guy's a beast. Just about ready to have baby number 4, one of the fittest guys I know in the industry. Him and I are just in awe of the players we've got on this Purple Cobras team this year. So look out, Win the Storm basketball game. Be there. It's Tuesday night to kick off this conference. One of the most, all kidding aside, one of the most collaborative and fun events that goes down in this industry. It's really been cool. It's we kind of make fun of it.
I'm not going to be able to be there.
So. Well, you guys are going to be there filming. Jonathan Sherwood and Paul Reed snuck in as announcers.
There's a conflict in our schedule.
Oh, you're not going to be at the Tuesday?
No, it's Tuesday. There's something else, isn't there?
Oh, you're going to be over at Hotailing staring at Ferraris.
I'm sorry, guys.
And so there's two things going on. I don't want to, Anthony's got this awesome lineup of VIP events at this, and it's his birthday, so we want to make sure we give Win the Storm some time here on the show. But they have the basketball game the same. Get a VIP ticket if you're a contractor to this thing, because it like starts out Tuesday night with this gala at John Hotailing's house, the Brown Mansion, good friend of ours. John Hotailing, board director, one of the founding people in the American Policyholder Association that we're all in.
Is his house going to be big enough to hold?
I don't know if his house is big enough.
The garage is not at his house. Right. And so it is at an offsite location where his garage is that has all the cars. So awesome. If you haven't experienced it, get in the VIP level. That's Tuesday night. John will be there. The basketball game is the same night for those that want to catch, Matt Grassmyer tearing a calf. We'll be dominating them on Tuesday night. And then Wednesday, there's another VIP event that's at the Bourbon View. So that's a part of the VIP package at Win the Storm as well. So get in touch with them if you're interested in the VIP tickets. It's going to be some exclusive networking, going on at some of the coolest venues in New Orleans this year. And Autumn Wusick and the team over at When the Storm can get taken care of on that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, they're pretty fantastic. No, the basketball game will be fun. Again, though, I want to reiterate the difference between actually dunking a basketball and dunking Oreos, which is what was going on in Costa Rica. I cannot emphasize that enough. I think people need to know that's
all muscle on Pate. He's been putting on weight, and it's all muscle.
Yeah.
Also, listen, if Matt Danskin is your strength and conditioning coach, like you should gain muscle just by standing in the same room as him. For those of you who have never met Matt Danskin, the first time I ever saw Matt Danskin, like I was reminded. So I went on a visit to Indiana University as a high school student,
best college in America,
with a soccer team, and they had at the time they had a woman strength and conditioning coach. She was from Germany, and her name was Hilda. And picture Matt Danskin with long hair, But that's what I. She was so mean.
You know, he rocked it when he was younger. Those blonde locks.
Absolutely. You should gain muscle mass just by standing in the same room as Matt Danskin.
And for those who don't know Matt Danskin, let's give him a plug, right? Restoration Referral System, friend of the show.
Said, hey there, coach.
Right. So Matt's got a great company, Restoration Referral System. If you're looking for like a process-driven solution to your leads for the markets that you're in, he's the guy to check out. It's restorationreferralsystem.com.
Yep, I agree with that. Matt's a beast. So
it's legit. It's a proven method that you've at least got to hear him. Like hear him out
for sure.
Like the proof's in the pudding, and his clients are seeing results like hands down. Like
Catalyst Group company, vetted, verified, great guy, good leadership, great process. Restorationreferralsystem.com. My assistant coach.
He's okay. He's okay. Let's not give him too much time here.
Well, guys, thank you so much. We're way over time today, and this has been a lot of fun hanging out. So, but what can we expect? We have Troy Clymer and Matt Grassmyer here, two of the most talkative people in the industry, hanging out on the show today. So it is what it is. Matt, say hi to your wife for us.
We'll do. You guys,
we haven't
Thanks
seen
for
you.
the calf shot, brother. Impressive.
Anytime. Love you guys. Thanks for having me today.
All right, man. We'll see you, dude. Thanks, man. So, guys, that's Matt Grassmyer over at HailTrace, and he's just Matt. What can you say?
He's one of my favorite people in the industry. He's a very close friend of mine. His wife, Caitlin's one of the best ladies I know. You catch her at some events as well. But one thing I will say about HailTrace, and the reason we're so aligned with them at the Balanced family of companies, is culture. And, it's great organization, good leadership, Derek as a human, even better person, right? And great culture there. So wonderful organization, and honored just to be involved with them and to have been able to learn from, Derek and his team over the last 6 years as an entrepreneur. It's been fun to grow together. And, very grateful for the leadership that him and Matt, John, and the rest of the team over there provide. I'm looking forward to seeing the kid here soon. I've missed him. And John,
he's hilarious.
Yeah, they've got one of the best teams, and top to bottom, we get on with almost everyone in that company, and just a wonderful organization. So thank you, Matt, for being on the show today.
Yep, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining us for the American Contractor Show. Stay tuned. In the next couple of weeks, we will be announcing a lot more information about the American Contractor Summit, all the things that are coming up. And
what's the website? Where can people find that information?
American Contractor Summit is the website. It still has the old stuff on it, though we have not updated it with the new bios and all the new speaker stuff for the actual Storm Summit. So we're in the middle of that right now. But you can still buy the old summit, the one that just happened. If you missed that one and want to go back and rewatch it, it is available. Go to American Contractor Summit. It'll give you the option.
And it's available on demand. This is important. Yep. We did the first summit on this new Facebook Live platform that they have. And the second summit, we're going to offer it multi-platform. And John will share more about that in the coming weeks, but working on that. You do not have to consume American Contractor Summit 1 that just happened on Facebook. We now have it on a different platform. John mentioned that a little bit.
Sammy, if you go to the American Contractor Summit website, the link is there to take you to our on-demand, over-the-top platform, which basically is our own place that we are storing as well as distributing all the American Contractor stuff the summit events.
And every one of these American Contractor shows you can subscribe to there as well.
That's correct. They are all going to be up there shortly, and so you can actually start watching them. We're looking at a whole lot of other options for distribution here throughout the year, so not going to let that out of the bag quite yet. But there's some really, really cool.
I'm on here to open bags, man.
Let's leave the bags closed for a minute, because there's some really awesome stuff that's coming up that I really want to announce, but we're not quite there yet. But we are making some huge improvements on the show, and the reason we're switching the summit over to that too is the actual quality of the content is much, much higher and much easier to consume on the new platform. So
you can still get it on the old platform.
Yeah,
it'll be in all places, but it's these summits come off the press. We want to keep the production quality even higher on the back end.
ProRes 4K on the new platform. Whereas Facebook compresses a lot of things down. Yeah. The new platform does not. So it's got it all at the actual level that it's supposed to be at. So, and it's a whole different experience. When you experience the summit at that level, you understand why we went into it the way we did. So I'm really excited about it. Make sure to check it out. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today to the American Contractor Show. I'm John Dye, and today we had Troy Clymer with us, and hopefully Troy will be back more often now that we got this new snazzy studio set up here.
Hard for me not to come play in the studio. It's next to my office.
That's right. So thank you so much for joining us today, folks. We'll see you guys on Thursday for the American Contractor Show. See you then. Are you doing something unique, innovative, or just plain cool with your contracting business and want to show off a little bit? We'd love to hear from you. Send us an email at showcase@americancontractorshow.com and let us know what you're up to. We'd love to hear from you, and maybe we'll feature you on a future episode.